What's going on? It's Ian here, and today we are talking about plumbing. I'm continuing the 1966 Airstream project, and today I'm tackling the waste tanks and all the plumbing for that. I'm not going to get too far into like the internal plumbing. On this one, I'm not going to be doing like the full build out, so I'm only putting the fittings in the tank coming through the floor where they're going to be, as well as like the toilet flange. So we'll get to that probably whenever I'm doing more sort of the interior stuff. I'm going to go over that and talk about like spin weld fittings and all that kind of stuff. But in this one, I'm doing the tank setup as well as the drainage plumbing side of things. And on this particular build, the client wanted a 3-tank setup where we have one black tank, which I already have sitting in here right now, and then 2 gray tanks that are going to be attached together essentially, and double the capacity there. So it's going to be, these are 16 gallon, I believe, 16 gallon tanks. So it's going to be 16 gallons of black and then roughly 32 gallons of gray water. So pretty decent capacity. And then it's not going to have any freshwater tank. He wants to just entirely be hooked up. So we're not going to be dealing with that side of things. So it kind of simplifies it, but I'll go over everything I did. I'll show you guys first kind of the mounting and everything I have going on there. And then from there, I'm going to continue the build. I'm going to put the tanks in and work on getting all the drainage stuff set up. So I'm going to just dive right in. Okay, so I want to show you guys this. So this is where this first tank is, and this is going to be the black tank, like I said. And I have added this piece of angle iron that goes all the way across, and that holds the tanks in place with these straps of aluminum angle, and it's not fully tightened yet because I'm getting everything placed. And then there's another one along the back side as well. And then as you can see, the tank sits a little bit below the level of the frame rails. So I made this additional drop down support structure for it, and that is going to be able to have a piece of aluminum attached and be completely self-contained, sealed, insulated, all that with a belly pan. So the belly pan will extend over the tanks and everything to make sure that all of that stuff is protected. And it's a pretty straightforward design, and I think it'll work out really well. And having those pieces welded down there will help protect the tank. I mean, it doesn't go that far below the frame rail, but there is a slight chance that on a really steep drive it may bottom out. But honestly, I think it's probably going to hit the back first before it hits these spots. But just in case, I just wanted to have extra protection there. So now I'm going to work on the drainage and all the plumbing for that, and the 2 gray tanks are going to be connected together and equalizing into each other, and then there's going to be separate valves essentially for the gray tank and the black tank so that they can be obviously opened separately, because you don't want obviously the black tank to drain into the gray tanks at all. That would be bad. But so we'll have the 2 tanks, and essentially everything will come out underneath the chassis, but above this lower brace to keep all the plumbing protected. I want everything to be just self-contained, and then there'll essentially be just like an opening here, and I'll build an aluminum enclosure for it essentially, to where the frame and everything, and it's all enclosed, and it'll basically just be the handles and then the drain pipe sticking out. So I'm gonna get rolling on that. Let me get all of my plumbing. It's kind of spread out. I had some over there because I was testing whenever I was building the frame, and so let me grab everything.
One eternity later.
Okay, so we have all of our plumbing goodies. For drainage, I'm using 3-inch ABS. I want to do some research on, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of RVs are going to PVC. I don't know why this has always been used and if there's a transition, why that's happening, but this is just what I'm doing for right now. So I got to change up some stuff and get this figured out. So basically this is the valving system, and I found this two-way valve that is going to work perfect for this application, and it will just stick out the side over here, and then obviously you can just open the black tank, open the gray tank, and drains from one spot, which is handy. So I need to start measuring and mocking up everything. It's gonna extend out, and then I got 90s that are gonna come, and it's all gonna collect together. So it'll be a little bit of a tricky job to get it all plumbed correctly, but we're gonna get it figured out. Okay, so the valve's going to mount kind of right here. And right now it's not quite lined up with the tank, and there's the kick down on the frame right here, and I just need to basically cut that piece out and then repaint right there. And then this can slide over more and line up with that. And then my hope is that this one will then, then that should just line up perfectly with that one when it moves over the same amount. Yeah, that should be perfect. Right, so I just need to cut this a little bit, and then we should be good. You can see a little better from this angle how I notch that, and then that positions this to where it's lined up now perfectly with the tank on the 90 here, and then all this will be in here, set in here. This might be a little tricky right here. I have to angle these valves a little bit to get that to come out straight. Maybe like that. Yeah. I need to cut these tabs off. Then I'm going to put this on that. I just got to cut these tabs off, and this will slide on, and then I'll use ABS cement to hold it, to glue it on there. And then I have another flange that'll go down here. So it'll just have a little bit of a down angle. But that'll still be within all of this, so it'll be nice. Okay, so I cut these lengths to where this piece was all the way up against the frame. So as you can see, the valves are sticking out pretty far. And it actually, with the piece that I have left, as you can see, it's a little short. So, which is totally fine because we have almost 2 inches that we can go in essentially with the valve, and that'll be better because then it won't be pushing up against the frame. So I'm going to cut these back probably about whatever this length is, and then that'll bring the whole unit back, and that'll be even with the frame. The handles will be even with the frame, and then that'll give also the drain valve the space to where instead of this essentially being right there in there and me having to potentially clearance it, I'll be able to scoot it back and it'll clear it just fine. And then this will just be barely sticking out and it'll be perfect. But this is all fitting in here spectacularly. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. So I'm going to pull these pieces out and then cut a few inches off of them, and then we should be good. I'll test fit it one more time, and then once I'm happy with everything, I will solvent weld all the spots that need to be, and there's obviously a few that are just hose clamps, and like these are actually hose clamp as well, so that clamps down on that. This is a really tight fitting. I had to sanded it down just slightly to get it even to go in, but that should be just great. So, yep. So everything is in here, and it all seems to fit pretty good. I'm really happy with how this is all looking, and you can access the valves real easily from here, and then this piece will basically just fit in here like that, and then the additional flange will go on it. And I may actually angle it. Now I gotta be able to open the valve. So, yeah, I may cut that down a wee bit. That's what I'll probably end up doing. Because that's just, I feel like that's gonna stick out a little far. So, I'm gonna cut this thing down a little bit so it goes on a little further and doesn't hang down as much. So, but here it is, and I'm happy with everything. So I'm gonna pull it all back out, cut the little knobs off the valve, and get it ready to actually go in there and be glued. Okay, so I'm gonna start connecting the pieces that need to be cemented together. I'm leaving these loose for right now so I can get everything just fitted up and let the adjustment happen there. So I'm gonna just start this process. Stuff is super awesome. All right, so it looks like everything is secure and glued, and everything looks pretty good. Really happy with this. It seems really solid. Obviously, I still need to put the holes in the tank and the fittings and all that kind of stuff. and then leak test it. So I'm going to obviously be doing that in a little bit later on. I need to kind of finalize some of the dimensions in the floor plan because we need to put like the toilet flange in the right place and everything so that it all works properly. So I'm going to just finish stuff up here. I still need to do the sea level tank sensors, and they're going to go on the front side of the tanks because this is the largest part, which will show the most depth. And so we're going to install those there, and then the wiring is going to come up through the floor. I'm probably going to have the floor in whenever I do that because the tank sensors are not here yet, and I need to get the floor in like in the next 2 days. So I got to put the insulation in, get the floor in, and then put those in once they get here, which shouldn't be a problem because I'm going to have the bottom side of this open so I can access everything. I'm also probably going to put insulation on maybe on the top side of the tanks. I'm not 100% sure. And then they'll have insulation in around them as well. I'll do that from the bottom. So yeah, it's coming along pretty good, and I'm happy with everything. So the tanks are mounted and completed, and as you can tell, the subfloor is in it. And I did that a few weeks ago because I'm actually recording the ending of this video in the future because I was editing and again realized I hadn't closed it. I've been doing that more and more lately. I think I'm losing my mind. I need a vacation. But in any case, they're all done. The last thing I need to do is locate where everything going through the floor is going to be and put the spin weld fittings on the top that are going to be for like all the gray tank drains. And I think there'll be like one or two, probably, well, two because there's 2 tanks. I'm going to have one for the bathroom and one for the kitchen area sort of thing. So we're going to put those 2 things in as well as the toilet flange, and then that will be done with the plumbing. So that's going to be coming up in another video. So I hope you guys enjoyed and that this was informational and helpful. I would love it if you would subscribe, and feel free to like and comment below. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or you want to tell me that the audio's off, but I fixed it a while ago because I got mic set up. Still get those comments all the time from previous videos. So appreciate all of you, and we will see you next time.